Hello everyone, I'm Matt. I want to show you all some turmeric that I've been growing in some pots here in Florida. I planted them in the spring, and right now it's like January, midway through January, and I planted them in these pots, and you can see that there's no foliage or anything because the turmeric dies back in the winter. This is the first time that I've done this, and I'm very pleased with the results. And I grow pretty much everything else in the ground. I don't really like to grow stuff in pots because I don't like watering it. I don't like to use the plastic. I don't like the aesthetics of it. I kind of like my forest gardens and my stuff just kind of planted around in the ground and let it reseed and do its own thing. But turmeric and ginger are the two things that I put inside pots, and the only reason I do that is because it makes it so much easier to harvest. You can see this. I just emptied this out of the pot. I'll bring it a little bit closer. And this is one season of growth. When I planted these, each one here, each one that I planted was just a little piece. Like this is a little, like a little hand of turmeric, and for each pot I just planted like a finger, like one of these little things. So in just the matter of 9 months or so, I ended up with all of this. And if you're not familiar with turmeric, it's related to ginger, and you can look it up online and just look at the health benefits of turmeric. It's kind of one of those superfoods. They use it in Indian dishes and stuff. It has a real yellow, like dark orange yellow color to it that colors up the dishes and makes them look really nice. But beyond that, people dry it out. We dry it out and powder it. You just put it in like nutrient bullet and powder it. All these are from one plant. It's kind of blowing my mind here. Just these nice hands of turmeric. Loads of it. So, yeah, look it up online. I mean, I can't really tell you exactly what it has to offer nutritionally. I mean, I don't really get too much into that. I kind of look at some studies and just things that have been studied a lot and stuff like that. And when I see a lot of studies been done on it and a lot of claims been made about different veggies, I have a lot of faith that vegetables in general are really good for us, and the more we eat, the better we are. So if there's some that stand out among certain people, then I tend to just kind of take their word on it and grow it and eat it because it's food. So yeah, this is from one plant, and all I did was, well, I have this soil mix, which now I'm dumping out onto the ground because it's probably a little bit spent from the turmeric, taking some of the nutrients out of it, but it's still largely pretty full of organic matter. And your soil mix, I mean, I just say use whatever you use. I happen to have a swamp in the backyard, and we dug a pond, so we have a big pile of muck. And I mixed, for this mix, I mixed muck with a little bit of cow manure that I get from a mushroom, Monterey Mushroom. They have a mushroom farm over in Orlando, and they sell the dirt or the spent manure out of there. So I mix it with that, and I put some builder's sand in it just for drainage. This is a soil mix that I was using for a while. I don't really use it too much anymore because it's kind of a hassle to mix all these different ingredients. But you can just get your soil from a nursery supply store, or if your municipality or your like the Orlando dump, the landfill has soil that they make from decomposed yard waste and things like that they get from people. So I mean, wherever you get your soil from, you can just look that up. It's not a picky plant. It's cold sensitive. It dies back in the cold here in Central Florida and probably like a lot of other places. I'm not sure how far north you could get away with growing it. But the main thing is you plant it in the spring, and you want to keep this turmeric. All right, so I'm gonna bring this inside. I'm gonna powder a lot of it up, but a lot of it I'm gonna save. And what I'll do is I'll rinse it off, clean it off real well, get all the dirt off of it, and I'll just put it in a dark, dry place, whether it's a closet or a cabinet or something. Make sure it's in a dark, dry place. And we have a short winter, so I don't have to worry. We don't have to worry too much about preserving it for too long. Like I said, it's January. Our winter's over in like halfway through February, so it's not going to take a long time to store this. And then it'll start to dry out a little bit. Come springtime, after the first freeze, which here in Central Florida will probably be like midway through February, I'll just break off a little piece of this, just like a little finger, and stick it in some soil, back in a pot, and just make sure it gets a little bit of water. The thing doesn't dry out. You don't want to kill the plant. And then whenever the foliage, so you can see this is actually the top of the root where all the little hands were grown off of. This is the foliage that died back once it started getting cold. Once that foliage dies back, you can harvest it up, and just keep a little to the side to plant for next year, and the rest you can look up some recipes. You can cook it. You can just put it in smoothies. You can cut off pieces of it raw, put it in smoothies. You can juice it. You can just dry it out, which in Florida, a car is a very good natural dehydrator. I just put stuff in paper bags and toss it in the car with the windows up for a couple days, and it'll dry out, and then you can pull it out and put it in the Vitamix or a nutrient bullet or whatever you have that can grind it up, and you have it in a powder, and at that point you can put it inside little capsules and take them. You can sprinkle it on food, put it in smoothies and whatever. It just preserves longer if you put it into a powder. So good luck growing some turmeric. Definitely recommend it after this season, what we got. Best of luck!